What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going to be going over day 5 of Colts training camp, getting back on the field. And this one, to start the second week of training camp, is a padded practice, full padded practice. Good to see everybody getting full pads on, able to really start to get some notes about offense and defense in terms of the offensive defensive line. And get some stuff there. There ain't a whole lot, of course. That's not the most flashy topic, so it's not really a whole lot of what we hear about. But do want to start going through this, so let me switch you guys over. Right, get this started. Get you guys on your way. So just starting with a little Josh Downs working on his hands. Need a lot of this. Catching from quarterbacks, catching from the jugs machine. We need a lot of this. Josh Downs included. He's been dropping passes, so need him to keep doing this. Need everybody to keep doing this. A.D. Mitchell, right? And then speaking of A.D. Mitchell, we just had a video earlier today about A.D. Mitchell and his struggles in the first week of camp, having different drops. And through that first week, really just the wide receiver that seemed to be stocked down. One of the only people on the roster that really was stocked down in week 1. But here we have Angela Morian. I hope I'm saying that right. 2 times in a row, A.D. Mitchell beats Charvarius Ward big time in one-on-one drills. Second time is good for a 40-yard touchdown. So this goes along with what I've talked about. Like, there's so many things to Charvarius Ward that are elite, right? He's going to be able to leave the best corners in the league behind him because of the way he can get off and the way he can run his routes. The quarterbacks have to get him the ball, and when they do, he has to be able to catch the ball, right? So going forward, that's what we're going to continue to look for, is that he's, getting his hands on the ball and bringing it in, right? Next up, nothing really going on here. Just showing some of the big boys getting together, Big Grove, Big Q, and Bernard Raymond getting together for a conversation. Braden Smith on the bottom down here, chilling by himself. See Buck coming in. And then as we continue to go, getting James Boyd here, some throws from Anthony Richardson before practice started. Michael Pittman Jr. over there on the sideline. Nice. And then a coach underneath. All right, now, little punting here, little special teams. Rigoberto Sanchez with a clinical showing in the team's first punt period of the day. A trio of 70-plus yard boots and a couple of coffin corners. And you love to see that. You just hope he doesn't outkick his coverage, right, for as far as he can punt the ball. You want to see guys be able to get down and not give up, right? You have a 70-yard punt, but you're giving up 15, 17 yards on the return, right? So net yards wouldn't be there for Rigo. So that's going to be what we want this year. Net yards on punts, pinning them inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5. Those are the things that we're really looking for. It sounds like Rigo had himself a good day. And then here we have a video of Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones both throwing the ball in one-on-ones here. I assume probably taking turns throwing the same routes. Let's see that one. Good completion to for Ashton Doolin, 16, huh? I don't know who 14 is. I think 9 is Juwan Winfrey. Good throw, good catch right there. Good strong hands. Jalen Jones, they might have called that incomplete. Jalen Jones in his hip pocket right there. Now Daniel Jones up to throw. Daniel Jones, he is, this one launching down the field. And that one, that's A.D. Mitchell on Charvarius Ward. Cooked him and had Charvarius Ward trailing behind him. Good throw by Daniel Jones down the sideline. Another one. This one, what was that? That was Josh Downs trying to make an insane catch right there on Kenny Moore. Daniel Jones, third throw in a row. This one, come back to the sideline. 43. Is that a tight end? Looks like a wide receiver. Is that a wide receiver number, bro? That's ugly. Good catch, though. Number 5, Anthony Richardson. Sitting here looking at numbers. Good throw to the sideline there by Richardson. Couldn't tell who was in coverage or who the receiver was. This Throw down the field toward the sideline. Who's that? Anthony Gould. Unable to bring that in. Think that might have been a little too far outside on the sideline. Oh, what a route. Michael Pittman Jr. leaving Samuel Womack in his dust on the double move right there. Hold on, let's watch that one again. Pitt with a nasty double move. Watch. Cooked him. Goodbye. Thought he was cutting inside behind him. And he just cuts upfield. Man. Nice route by Pitt. Shows why he's number one right there. Able to walk it into the end zone. And overall, from everything I've seen today, it was the best day by both quarterbacks overall. Neither of them really having many mistakes. Wide receivers not letting many drop the ground. There were a couple passes that dropped the ground, and they were because of wide receiver drops. Those things need to get cleaned up, of course. But quarterbacks seem to have a good day. Jalen Jones had himself a good day. On defensive side, I think there's a note about Latu later. And maybe some other stuff. We'll see. I think run defense, now the pads are on, exactly what we hoped. Being able to stop the run, it seemed like we were kind of able to do that, so that's good. So Daniel Jones ended up being the first one with the starters today in 11 on 11s, and we'll get to those notes very shortly. Here you have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson doing routes on air here. Anthony Richardson letting one go about 20 yards down the field, right on the money to A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell, good job catching it, not letting that one touch the ground. All right, and then, of course, we have Noah Compton with his daily training camp updates. These have been amazing. Great stuff here by Noah Compton. The rest of Twitter is taking notice. For sure, I've seen some other people that kind of live and die by these on these training camp practice days. All right, so first team period with Daniel Jones with the starters. To start things off, Joe Bachie, interception right away. And then potential would-be sack. And Daniel Jones still scrambled anyways for 8 yards up the sideline. So two negative plays by the starters right away. Joe Bachie, I sit here and say negative for the offense. The defense putting on pressure early on Daniel Jones. Joe Bachie making another play, getting an interception. Once again, almost at this point solidifying that he's going to have a role on third down and obvious passing situations, right? Like when it's late game and the other team's driving to try to score to win the game, it's probably going to be Joe Bachie on the field instead of Zaire Franklin would be my guess. At least at this point, that's the vibe I'm getting. Then again, potential would-be sack. Great news. Daniel Jones scrambles away anyways for 8 yards up the sideline. Then impressive cut and potential touchdown finish by DJ Giddens. So DJ Giddens, he's somebody that I believe there were more notes about as we go, or at least something said about him later on. At least one of the last things we look at is it like an observation that somebody put out there? Nate Atkins, I believe, put out there talking about DJ Giddens. So we'll talk about him again later. Now, first team period with Anthony Richardson and the backups featured a couple of rushes, one by JT, a second by Salvin Ahmad, and then he also had two quick completions to DJ Montgomery, one of which was an RPO. So being able to get the ball out of his hands quickly, running the ball. These are the things that we're really starting to work on here with Anthony Richardson is, hey, dude, we're just going to try to get little bit with when the big play is there and we're trying to go for it and look for it, but we're trying to run the ball for a couple yards, pass the ball for a couple yards. If we can get an extra couple yards on a pass, that's great. Let the playmakers make plays. We're really just trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands as quickly as possible. That is the objective of this offense. Again, not necessarily West Coast offense, but a lot of West Coast offense identity in this Shane Steichen offense. And it's predicated around getting the ball to your best players, letting them make plays. Right? That's what makes Brock Purdy so good. He's really good at doing the easy things well. Right? Gets the ball into his playmakers' hands for that Kyle Shanahan offense, and he just lets those guys make plays. And that's what Anthony Richardson needs to do. That seems to be the focus on a lot of these team periods with Anthony Richardson. Now, This here, you might have been watching this as I was talking. Anthony Richardson to Laquan Treadwell. Great throw, great catch. Justin Wally, sticky in traffic, but just an incredible job right there. Like getting him to bite on the inside. And then, I mean, just a great route by the veteran Laquan Treadwell. Dicing up the rookie right there, giving him a little game. I mean, incredible dot on the sideline by Anthony Richardson, though. Like it looks easy because he's an NFL quarterback, and that's kind of what you would expect. And, you know, it's only one receiver and one DB. There's nobody rushing. Like, it looks easy. My friends, that is not an easy throw. I mean, Justin Wally's right there, bro. If that's not on the money, Justin Wally's tapping that away at the last second. So, great throw by AR right there. Perfectly, and then here Justin Wally again, perfectly timed coverage by rookie Justin Wally to break up a beautiful pass from Daniel Jones to Tyler Warren. Wally continues to impress this camp. Again, shout out to Angela Morian for everything that she's providing in today's episode of Training Camp Updates. Richardson is a perfect 4 for 4 during 7-on-7 with the second team offense. Completed passes to Will Mallory, Anthony Gould, DJ Montgomery, and Ashton Doolin. So once again, Anthony is on it right now. Again, both quarterbacks having, for the most part, good days, having their best days of camp. Anthony Richardson didn't throw an interception. Daniel Jones did. Just for those that want to keep score. One of them threw an interception, the other didn't. Then you have quarterback one right here just vibing out in practice. I believe somebody asked Grok what the song was, and they're actually playing Anthony Richardson's song. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to play it and get DMCA'd or anything, but vibing out in practice. Anthony Richardson with a really, really nice touch throw to Will Mallory on the far sideline for a big gain during 7-on-7. Love to see that. Hopefully we see a video of that. And if the Colts admin has shown anything, there will be a video of that very soon. Richardson with the first team, perfect 2 for 2. 35 yards to Michael Pittman Jr. and then a short check down to Tyler Warren, who tacked on an extra 20 yards or so. Now, not practicing today is Alec Pierce. Was really the only veteran resting. That's because he had a blister on his foot. Just said, hey, go ahead, sit out. A little bit of vet rest right there. And then Zaire Franklin still not practicing, but Kenny Moore back at practice today. He was dealing with a sore knee, but back on the field. First one-on-one period of full pads. 40-yard chess match between Kenny Moore and Josh Downs. And there were 2 pass breakups throughout that. So love to see that. Same thing that we've seen since Josh Downs' rookie years. Kenny Moore and Josh Downs constantly battling in camp. Love to see it. Those two going after one another. Just going to continue iron sharpen iron and continue to get better. Perfect 40-yard fade from AR to Doolin for a touchdown. I'm sure we're going to see that at some point. AR to Michael Pittman Jr. Go ball for a touchdown. And I think that go ball for a touchdown might have actually been the one against Samuel Womack. That might have been that one. Daniel Jones to A.D. Mitchell. Deep out on Ward. And then Jones to Mitchell again on a fade for a touchdown. So those last two, kind of what we talked about earlier, where you have A.D. Mitchell getting past Charvarius Ward. And on the second one, able to get a touchdown. So the quarterbacks, wide receivers doing their thing today. More highlights from one-on-ones. Multiple Cam Bynum pass breakups. So putting a safety in one-on-ones and still coming away with pass breakups. Love to see it. Impressive from behind play by Juju, which is what you would expect. Somebody with long arms. He's somebody, his athleticism, his size, his length. He's a guy that he's going to bait quarterbacks into throwing balls and thinking that they're comfortable throwing a ball into a spot that they shouldn't throw it. So good to see by Juju right there. Jalen Jones, a little handsy, but good coverage nonetheless. Laquan Treadwell, and Jalen Jones is going to be physical, especially with pads on. Jalen, that's why Jalen Jones doing what he was able to do in Gus's system was impressive, because he's the guy you could tell with his tape coming out of college. Jalen Jones needs to be aggressive. He's going to be able to be aggressive, which is why I think he's going to be an incredible player in this Lou Anarumo defense. So nonetheless, I'm perfectly fine with Jalen Jones being handsy. Laquan Treadwell, Moss, Justin Wally. That was that one throw we saw just a few minutes ago. Not a lot of bad, to be honest, other than a slight underthrow fade from AR to Michael Pittman Jr. for an interception. Okay, so in one-on-ones, AR does throw an interception, it appears. So both quarterbacks, one in a team period, one in one-on-ones, or actually was Daniel Jones in team period or one-on-ones? Let's come back here. Yeah, Daniel Jones was in 11-on-11. Anthony Richardson's was in one-on-ones where he has to throw the ball. So, again, for those keeping score. All right, where did we just leave off here? Alec Pierce, chess match. All right, here we are. First 7-on-7 period had Daniel Jones with the starters. We have a quick hitch to Tyler Warren, who got his hands on it. Joe Bachie knocked it out for a pass breakup. Joe Bachie once again making plays. Intermediate out to Warren, same ordeal. Wally contact caused a pass breakup. So first day of pads, and you see early on Tyler Warren getting his hands on the ball and it popping out. Something he's going to need to work on clearly. Okay, can't have your tight end getting his hands on the ball and popping out all the time. He needs to strong arm these things. He needs to understand the strength of guys on the NFL level, and he needs to be able to hold on to these. Then next up, great find to an open Michael Pittman Jr. Up the right sideline. And then A.D. Mitchell, 15-yard in route. Daniel Jones hits him. So starts off a little rocky, but able to find some other guys for completions before 7-on-7s is up there. Now, second team 7-on-7 with Anthony Richardson. You have the definition, dropping one into the bucket to Will Mallory. Another one I hope we're able to see at some point. Quick find to Anthony Gould on an in-breaker for run after the catch. Immediate slant to Montgomery. Quick sit to Doolin. And all in all, a quick and efficient 4 for 4 in that session. And once again, it's everything that we're doing with Anthony is throwing it short, doing the easy thing, getting the ball out of your hands, and right, like he dropped one in a bucket to Will Mallory, but outside of that, quick find to Anthony Gould, run after catch. Immediate slant to DJ Montgomery, get the ball in his hands, see if he can get some yards after the catch. Quick sit to Doolin, get the ball in your guy's hands quickly, see if he can get some yards after the catch. Like, I love that these are the things, the habits that we're creating early on in training camp and going to be able to take into the season. Now, last team period of the day is an 11-on-11 session with Anthony Richardson and the starters. The only two passes in this session were perfectly executed. An absolute seed to Michael Pittman Jr. up the left sideline, hit him in stride. An 11-on-11 work. I can't wait to see that one. A tight end screen to Tyler Warren, and Tyler Warren broke off for big yards. So we saw somebody say something about that particular set of stuff that happened earlier. But there's a little extra detail. It was a tight end screen to Tyler Warren that he breaks out for big yards. So I wonder, maybe a new, with Tyler Warren being in the fold, maybe a new play that we're working on that the defense has never seen, and the offense was able to execute it flawlessly. Not sure if that's the case. That's just my assumption. But as we go here, seems that there was another team period. Noah Compton says the actual final team period of the day had Anthony Richardson with the starters. Two great finds to Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs in the middle of the field, and then a couple of rushes between Jonathan Taylor and Khalil Herbert that were thwarted by the defensive line. So, like seeing when pads come on, defensive line steps up. I'd like to know, by defensive line, does that mean Grover Stewart, right? Grover Stewart, the guy that I think is going to be major key for us, not only stopping the run, but causing internal pressure to the pocket and pushing center and or guard into the quarterback's lap in passing plays, right? So Honestly, in practice, I want our run game to not be able to work when Grover Stewart's on the field in practice. Like, we literally have to take him off the field to run plays in practice. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so completely fine with the run game not doing anything. Completely fine with Anthony Richardson being able to find guys in the middle of the field. Okay, now, efficient final drive for Daniel Jones and the Colts backups. You get a halfback screen to DJ Giddens for a nice chunk gain. Once again, DJ Giddens' name coming up. Great find to Will Mallory, whose name continues to come up. Seems like he's a guy. A tough decision might be made as we come up to the end of camp, or do we take 5 tight ends on the active roster? Great find to Will Mallory in stride on a crosser for 25 plus. Jones pulls the option for 15 plus up the sideline. So Daniel Jones continues to take it and run the ball in different team periods, something that Anthony's not doing a lot of unless it's designed runs. But even still, there isn't a whole lot of Anthony running. Daniel Jones in different team periods continues to run the ball. This feels like a place where you'd want to work on the pass game in training camp. You want your receivers to try to get some work. Try to, hey, if I try to do this, am I going to make a mistake, or can I make this work? Like, as a coach, I would assume that's what our coaches are thinking, and I'm wondering, are the coaches trying to tell them, like, hey, try to do something, like, just try not to run? Like, I'm just curious what the message is there. But nonetheless, Richardson runs up to him at the end of the session and praises him for a good drive. So love to see that. Good leader right there. Quick takeaway from the first day of full pads at Colts training camp and this is notes from Noah Compton, is that I generally feel like both quarterbacks had a solid showing. Pass catchers held up their end of the bargain today. At the most, there were 2 drops, while the quarterbacks limited mistakes. Great way to start real football. So love hearing that. You also have another update. Great follow here for Colts. If you're an Anthony Richardson guy and you're on Twitter, this is a guy you should probably be following. But he says both quarterbacks look great today, or look good today. Anthony Richardson, however, looked better, accurate, and precise. A.D. Mitchell had a good day today too, which is a great note right there. A.D. Mitchell, after the video we had earlier today, that's a great note. A.D. Mitchell having a strong day. You need to see continuous work and continuous good days put together. Same with Jalen Jones. The quarterback 2 competition continues to be a fun one to look at. Samuel Womack looked like he got beat bad by Michael Pittman Jr. in one-on-one. So cornerback 6 looks like, going to be buried on the depth chart. Looked good at certain parts last year, but did get beat in different moments. Gets beat here by Michael Pittman Jr. He did us good last year. He filled in a tough spot. I honestly hope he's able to make the team and fit in. We'll see what happens. Because I've heard some other things of Womack getting beat so far. So we'll see what happens. Best part, pads are on. You bet. Now, nice day for both Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. 50-50 split is the plan again this week. Full pads going to be the plan for tomorrow morning. Then you have Nate Atkins with some good notes coming up here. First day of one-on-ones is always fun. Jalen Jones just put on a clinic with 4 stops on 4 tries, including a fade he nearly picked off from Anthony Richardson. So again, another note on Jalen Jones, absolutely balling out. They thought they were about to take his cornerback 2 job, and Jalen Jones came in and said, I'm sorry, I've been cornerback 1 of this team for the last 2 years. I'm keeping myself on the field is exactly what's happening there. Now again, Nate Atkins with a couple of good updates as we finish up here. Best day for the quarterbacks by far. Only real incompletions were dropped. Anthony Richardson didn't have a ball hit the ground in 11 on 11 and uncorked a few gorgeous fades. So again, Anthony Richardson continuing to do exactly what he needed to do. Like, come in, just show consistency, show that you're getting better, do what we need you to do and go out and win this job. Take it by the reins and win the job. And so far, Anthony continues to do that. Now, again, Daniel Jones had a good day, so he's still on his hip pocket. So, Anthony, no room for error as we continue to go forward by either quarterback. Right now, drops are still happening. Surprising to see from Pittman and Downs. I agree. Don't get comfortable. Continue to get the ball for your quarterback, right? Colts practice observation day 5 as we continue to go on here by Nate Atkins. A.D. Mitchell beats Charvarius Ward for a one-on-one fade route. His first splash of camp. Great day by Jalen Jones with 4 stops and one-on-ones. Pads bring something out of him. Again, that physicality really starts to come from Daniel Jones or Jalen Jones when the pads come on. And then more observations here. Justin Wally made a great pass breakup versus Tyler Warren, his first highlight. Liatu Latu and Mackin Savez impressed in one-on-one pass rush drills. So love to see that. Latu, exactly who we thought he'd be, you know, a monster in one-on-ones once you put the pads on. And then Mackin Savez, really good news right there. Kind of everything I thought when he got drafted. I tried, to tell everybody, hey, look, at right tackle, if he's not going to be the future right tackle, we might have drafted Mackin Savez because of his body type and kind of some of the flaws that he has as a tackle. He would kind of make a really dominant right guard. And that seems to be what's going to happen with him, at least in one-on-ones, looking really good. And then DJ Giddens looks like something new at running back 2. Good vision, nice cuts, solid speed, and soft hands. Exactly what I said when he got drafted. I love Khalil Herbert as a backup running back. Glad that he's on the Colts. Was really glad when we signed him. And then we got DJ Giddens, and it was like, okay, to the victor go the spoils. Like, bring it on. We got Khalil Herbert and DJ Giddens. DJ Giddens very easily could be running back 2 as we go into week 1. But nonetheless, I think all 3 of the backup running backs are going to have some form of a role in this offense. All right, now let's just click on this, see if the thread continued. It did not. Those were it for observations. And that is going to be it for the updates for today. Again, seemingly kind of a lot going on, but quarterbacks having a good day, wide receivers having a good day. Still need to clean some things up. Tyler Warren maybe having not as good of a day as I thought. Defense having an impact. The physicality showing up, right? One-on-ones from the defensive line, you get the physicality showing up, but in one-on-ones and in teamwork between Joe Bacci and between some different guys in the secondary, being able to get plenty of pass breakups, some interceptions. So overall, just a little back and forth. Good by the defense, good by the offense. Love what we're seeing as pads come on. Real football started, and we continue tomorrow before having a day off on Wednesday. And of course, I have a day job, so with practices coming up, I'm going to get information to you guys as soon as I possibly can, and I'm going to get updates to you guys as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.